McGraw in the Morning continues on the Big 550 KTRS.
8:53 on the Big 550 KTRS. Charles D'Angelo is our guest. We've known him for 2 years, been coming on the show for just about 2 years. He's a weight loss coach. You've seen him everywhere. And you can go to charlesdangelo.com. Charles, welcome to Big 550 KTRS.
What's going on, McGraw?
First of all, how's the book coming? Is the book out yet?
Excellent. No, it comes out in January on store shelves across the nation in January. You can pre-order now, though, on Amazon.com.
And it's called?
Think and Grow Thin, the revolutionary diet and weight loss system that will change your life in 88 days.
Think and Grow Thin.
You got it.
And also, we'll talk more about that in January when the book comes out. Also, a plug by President Clinton on the cover of the book.
Yes, President Clinton was very, very kind. He knows my story, knows the struggle I went through as a child, and his foundation is very adamant about confronting and really combating childhood obesity. And considering the bullying, the torment I went through as a child, and I shared that quite candid story with him.
Right.
He was very, very kind after seeing several of his friends benefit from my work and keeping their weight off to put that quote on the cover of my book.
We should also say that Senator Claire McCaskill, who broke the story here on the Big 550 KTRS,
isn't that something?
She's a shell of herself. She must have lost 40 pounds or something. Now Washington Post is
50.
into it, 50 pounds. Politico's into it. All thanks
New
to
York Times.
All thanks to Charles D'Angelo and your weight loss program.
Every single person works very, very hard. You know that.
I know. Well,
and I appreciate that people attribute it to my work with them. And really, it comes down to their determination. I always give this metaphor. It's like a puzzle. Everything else out there, I believe, is missing something. They have the pieces. The diet is one piece of the puzzle, right? The exercise is another. They're both very, very, very important, vital pieces to the whole puzzle. But what everything else is missing is the box lid. And what I bring to the table is the box lid. Not only do I bring the box lid to the table, I actually number the pieces, help the person put them together, and if they'll let me, after the puzzle's put together, I'll help them even gloss over it so it stays nice and solid for long after. Like you're coming up on, is it 2 years that we've been working together?
Right, yeah.
So not only did you lose the weight, but you've kept it off. Everything that's out there, there's no lack of information of what's healthy to eat, what's good for exercise. In my book, I give a step-by-step guide, or if you come to see me, I tell you exactly what to eat, when to eat, how much to eat, to the letter, to the brand. I mean, it's very specific. With the exercise, I do the same thing. But the most important thing and what I believe that's missing is the think.
Right.
That is the mindset. How do you get yourself when you're at a Thanksgiving?
Right.
How do you keep yourself under control and not eat everything at the buffet like you and Kat Neville were talking about?
Right.
How do you get to the point where you actually look at that stuff and you say, why would I want to put all that junk into my system?
Right.
Rather than indulging and the next day regretting it, you come to the point where you realize that those things are not going to positively benefit you.
You also feel bad after you.
You feel guilty?
You feel guilty. You also feel worse
Physically.
You just don't
Absolutely.
feel good after eating all that stuff.
Yeah, you allow the emotion of what you associate to those unhealthy foods to overrule your common sense. You know logically that when you eat that stuff and when you overfill your system, you're not going to have energy the next day. You're going to be very sluggish,
right?
And you're going to resent and regret what you did.
Right. It's kind of like smoking. You don't realize how bad you feel till you quit smoking.
You know what's so amazing is I gave some advanced copies to a few folks that are in the book. And one of them, I won't name who, wrote to me, and he said, Charles, I went through the whole book. It's really, really inspiring. He said, it's so amazing. He was a recovering alcoholic. He said, the mindset part in your book is so similar to what I did to recover from alcoholism.
Right.
You almost have to, for some, to treat it as an addiction. You have to look at these things in the immediate, in the short term. You have to totally disconnect from them. Because if you allow yourself, if an alcoholic was to allow himself a couple drinks every week,
right,
it's very difficult to fully disengage from that addictive behavior. You have to learn how to disconnect, and if you choose to, eventually learn how to reconnect so that you learn how to integrate variety into your life and more flexibility.
One of the things about your diet, your way of eating, your way of teaching people how to eat is the refuel night, which is important. on a lot of different levels.
It is. Psychologically, it is, yes.
And talk about that for a moment, because people are like, oh, my goodness, I can't have Thanksgiving dinner. I can't have that piece of apple pie.
I'm never going to be able to go out with my friends again.
Right.
The reality is this. Okay, everything in moderation is okay at a point. I don't believe it's appropriate when a person has an immense amount of body fat to lose and their health is in jeopardy because of their habits. You have to totally disconnect at that point. However, in my approach, what I do is I allow one night a week so that a person can go out with their friends. They can choose to go out with their family or their significant other, and they can have some nutritive,
right.
It's not junk food, binge, eat 5,000 calories an hour like someone on A&E. It's a very, very healthy approach to it so that you're able to then have some things that you haven't had. So psychologically, you're meeting your need for variety. And physiologically, you're refueling your body, re-energizing your body so that the following 7-day period, your body can really just crank through fat at a lightning speed pace, and you'll see even a more significant weight loss the following week. You remember in your weight loss, McGraw, after that refuel night, you'll see maybe a pound or two
right.
of a jump from water weight.
Right.
But the following week, you're down another 4 or 5 pounds.
Right.
And in 3 months, a person can lose 35 to 50 pounds with this approach. It will change people's lives, but you have to commit, and the mindset's the most important thing, I believe.